Hello, welcome to the I Am a Mare Pausal Equestrian Podcast, where I talk to equestrian businesswomen about all things horsey and businessy. This week, we're in France with Nikky Field to take a look inside her amazing shop of retro and vintage objets d'art, amongst other things. While there, we will have a chat about her horse, the beautiful things she sells in the shop, and some of her business pain points. I give you Nikky Field. And then we're going to fart about trying to find out how this works. And is about to take us on a walk around her shop.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Here we go. I should see if I can do this. This is an ex-nightclub. So we've created a front desk where the DJ sat. And every part of the room had these little lodges, little rooms, including my round room, which I created as a circus tent.
Wow, I love that.
So we kept the original, they were all seating and tables in here where everyone sat and drank. And then there was seating, the dance floor was right in the center here. So as you can see, we've got an amazing space, a huge space. And what we did was to create a sort of souvenir, a memory, sorry, do it in French, a memory of the nightclub that everybody loved. We used different colors in each of the little side rooms. So each one is a different color. It helps us because we can say, oh, it's in the orange room, or oh, it's in the sick green room. But what we've got is a space that we've been able to create a backdrop for items mostly that are the same age as the building, because the building was built in the 70s, and we decided we'd go retro and vintage and be different. Can you see my glitter ball? I did that. I took all the mirrors off and I painted each one to turn it into a sun, as opposed to, because we've now brought the sunshine is the name of the name the nightclub was. We've kept the name, and okay. I decided to make the moon into a sun. We have a very eclectic collection of things.
And I believe you said you've got a collection of horse-related stuff too. Can we see that?
We can if I walk a bit quicker for a minute.
You can run to the horsey stuff if you want.
It's 350 square meters. So, I mean, what can I do? What can I say? Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We have a collection. I have a collection of very old, do it with my foot, stirrupines. Oops.
Oh, cool.
Which are so beautiful. You can imagine them on nights in the past. And then
I want to go back to those. I want to see those again. Go back a minute. Let's show us a couple. Do you have any photographs of these?
I think Hannah's got some of them photographs. So they are just the most extraordinarily old stirrupines.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes. Get Hannah to send some photographs and then I'll edit some of the photographs in.
No problem. So they are just extraordinary. And you can imagine, yeah, the weight of them is ridiculous, but they are beautiful. Right, we've got a lady who's in interesting position, but there's the likes of that. And then going quickly again, we have a selection of other. This guy is extraordinary. His work is beautiful. So we have a big wooden guy.
Oh.
It's like an old, like a carousel horse in miniature.
I was thinking it looked like Don Quixote's horse.
Got his beautiful alabaster. Can you see those okay?
Nice as well.
Yeah,
I love that.
That one's 165.
155.
I was a bit dubious of it. 165.
No, I like that.
And then we also have, you know, the weird and wonderful African. It's not just horse. As you can see, it's not just horses. There are horses dotted around.
Yes.
But we have to also bear in mind our clientele, and we have to be led by them. But we have to be careful because it's not just about the horse riders are here, even though we are in an area where there are a lot of horses, we also have to bring in our designer furniture.
Well, horse people need designer furniture too.
Paintings, mirrors.
Oh, I love those chairs.
Aren't they gorgeous? They're hugely tall. Aren't they lovely? So, these massive paintings. Can you see that big red face?
I can.
These are. We've got a space and the height of ceiling to be able to create and bring in and sell to people things they weren't looking for, almost. You go to a Brocante or a second-hand shop in France, for those of you that don't know them, they are a very, very iconic thing for the French, and they normally are full of brown, woodwormy furniture and
Yes,
rusty items that nobody actually remembers what they're used for anymore. We decided to break that trend, and we literally buy things that we like. Like, for instance, this extraordinary light, which is copper and crystal and glass. When that's lit up, it's like the water is flowing. We have, for instance, a blue plastic gummy bear that's a light. Chair. It's actually a chair that has a light in it, but we've hung it upside down and put a disco bulb in it. But that's actually a designer chair. So,
would you like to tell us where you are?
We're in the centre of France, in Department 19, in the Corrèze, which is in the Limousin. You come down, it's halfway between Brive and Limoges on the motorway, which is great for us because the motorways are just amazing here. So what we did was because when we moved to France 11 years ago, we bought a vineyard down near Bordeaux. And we spent 7 years making wine because we're ex-farmers. And we thought it would be a good idea. We didn't know what to do when the farm was suddenly, in the UK, was suddenly sold from underneath us. And so Dave said, I like wine. My husband, Dave, said, I like wine. So we bought a vineyard the way you do. And we learned a lot, and we worked very, very hard, and we renovated that. And then we decided the price of wine was plummeting, and we were just getting older. So we basically walked up and down the vines for days and days on end, the way you do when you're pruning and tying down, and talked about what we could do instead that wouldn't be quite so hard on our body and wouldn't necessarily involve us being outside all the time and dependent on the weather. So that's where we ended up. And the conversation went, well, we really like auctions. We've sold and bought tractors, cattle, sheep, furniture in the UK from auctions most of our married life. And it just grew into something. And then we found this place. And we fell in love with its quirks and its the nuttiness of it. And renovated it and set up. This is just starting our 3rd year. We opened at Easter 2 years ago.
And how's it been going?
It's been extraordinary. We've been self-employed for most of our lives, but we've been self-employed on, in agriculture or in hospitality, because we also bought a hotel briefly and we renovated that and ran it, and then decided that the fun bit was the renovating. I'm a terrible person for being bored. I don't like everything to be the norm. So being self-employed suits me no end. As a farmer, every day was chaos management. With this business, you never, ever know what's going to come through the door, what's going to happen next. And it's that ability to change rapidly what your plans are that makes being self-employed the most difficult thing for some people, and yes, the joy for others. And for me, it's a joy, because I love the fact that if I sell, for instance, that light that's right behind me, we'll bring out another one out of the attic, or we'll buy another one, and it will change the whole feeling of the place. If we sell a sofa, we move the whole shop around. It's so easy to do. This morning, I have a desk right next to our front desk. I have a desk that's been sold, and it's been in storage for about 2 months. And the chap is coming today to pick it up. So we had to move things around today. So things have moved to accommodate that desk for today. But at the same time, it makes you think, oh, well, I could leave that there because it looks better there. That thing I moved to accommodate this desk. And I've actually found a different space for it. And there's a really weird phenomenon that happens here. And I don't know if it's because I'm a witch, because I think I probably am. But if I go and touch something, specifically say, I'm going to touch, I really wish this thing, I'd like this thing to sell. It's a bit woo-woo, but it will sell. If I touch this tortoise, then the next person coming in will pick it up. Even if they don't buy it, they will pick it up. And suddenly, amongst over 1,000 items, this one thing becomes what people start looking at. And I don't know what it is, whether it's just the energy in the place, but sometimes an item that is not, it's not that it's not well displayed, it just doesn't like being where it is. It just needs a different zone. I've worked with the land all my life. I've worked with animals and crops all my life. It's been my complete love. And to suddenly go into retail, it's really important that we have the energies right in the building as well. We try and bring positivity into it. But how can you not be positive when you've got bright orange lights and fantastic?
Orange is one of my favorite colors. Orange and purple, and especially orange and purple together.
It's so in at the moment as well. We struggle. I spent 6 hours on the computer yesterday at an auction online, or I was online with it up in Tours, which is north, about 3.5 hours north of here, and everything orange I had marked as I wanted to do, and everything orange went beyond our what we could afford to pay for it. Well, the trouble is we are, when we're trying to buy items, we have a margin. It has a cost plus what we've paid for it before we even put it in the shop. So I have to be sensible, and I've had to learn to be sensible, and that's been quite hard for me as well. I want now has to be, but will it pay? Can you make the margin on it? If you can't put a profit on it, you can't buy it. And that's, we've had to learn that.
But it's a business, isn't it?
It is a business.
It's not just a hobby, it's a business. It's
as usual, we've bitten off a big chunk. We started, like the mineral room that we have there. Minerals are my love, my passion, and I've got this mineral room, but I've also got big minerals scattered around the business as well. And it's,
I think geodes, things like that.
Yeah, geodes, massive pieces of okay, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, for instance, this is a piece of malachite that's been polished on the inside. We've got, which is made as a little bowl to put your keys in or your sweeties in or anything you like that. I have animals. We have animals that are carved in. I've got a malachite hippo on the shelf up just behind me. So for me, though, the crystal room is. Shall I show you my crystal room?
Yes, please.
So this is my mineral room at the moment.
Oh, incredible! Can you go in closer to any of them?
Yeah, of course. We have.
I love stuff like that.
And then we have little teeny tiny ones in boxes. Hang on, I'll show you. We've got a collection. We've got more of these, of very small specimen pieces in boxes to protect them. Who is made with bismuth? So he's a metal creation on a copper base, and he's got bismuth, which is a mineral like this one that's like rainbow effect. So it's not just minerals on their own. For instance, this owl is made by the same guy as that painting.
Oh, wow.
With geodes for eyes, selenite and quartz.
Oh my God, I love that.
Isn't it extraordinary? And these are one-off pieces. So the things that we didn't think would sell, that we just happened to pick up in, say, a job lot, have been the things that have surprised us. And we've said, oh, well, in that case, we need to expand that part of the business. We've had to adapt our business to our customer up to a point, because we cannot please every customer. Yes. We will not please everybody every time someone comes in. And there are a lot of clients that come in and they go. We've had people walk in the front door and go, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting, and walk out again without
no, not in
even
a positive way.
Oh yeah. No, they won't even come in because it wasn't what they were looking for. Although, okay, we did have a Dutch couple that thought we were a restaurant and wanted a cup of coffee. We had to say sorry, go away. I've got an American paint, Palomino pie. So he's like a lemon pie for the Americans would call it as well. He's 4 years old just, and he was back last year. So he was bred in our town, in our village. And then he went to another owner who had him backed, she had a problem. She just lost her nerve, not his fault, her fault, and her problem. And so she sold him. I wasn't planning on getting a horse, but of course, Hannah, my daughter, she has a mare and foal. Well, mare and 2-year-old now he is, and he's paint cross. Hannah's got a big warm blood mare, and she put him to a paint stallion, which was a very interesting cross. So I just like the attitude, and I'd never had a paint horse in my life. I've always ridden the big chunkies, and had hunting cobs and Irish giraffe crosses and things. So he's a totally different mindset. Very, very interesting to work with him, and enjoying that a lot. You haven't got on his back yet though, because he's got
plenty of time. Did you say he's 4?
Yeah, no, I'm breaking him to Western, and it's time is precious for him now. He's got it all ahead of him, so having a lot of fun with that. See, where I think the problem with having a business certainly in France is it's easy to say this is what I'm going to do, and stick to that regardless of whether it's actually working. When a small tweak into one direction or another could actually make all the difference in the world.
Definitely, yes.
Whether it's for us, whether it's opening hours, whether it's the stock we keep, whether it's having jewelry, which we were never going to do. And there just happened to be a couple of glass display cabinets with a load of jewelry in it in a sale that a jewelry shop that would shut down. And we ended up with all this jewelry, and it became phenomenal. It was really, really busy, really, really popular. So we keep our eye out now, and we buy job lots of jewelry, and Dave and Grant, they rebuild necklaces and fix earrings and things if necessary. And apart from the fact there is nothing worse than trying to put a price label and an item number on a ring or a pair of earrings or a necklace, it's been worth it. It really has. But we didn't know that. We would never have put that on our list of things to sell.
How do you go about advertising it?
Right. Now, that's another of my bugbears.
Do you use internet marketing, or is it just...
Hannah's created a website which now includes hers and the boys' side businesses. Hannah, we have a website which has only recently, actually in the last month or so, had an online shop. Up till now, it's just been a website. We have Google presence, we have a Facebook presence, and so online is more about spreading the word that we're here physically than it is about buying things. But people now can buy from our website. The problem with that is we have the physical stock in the shop. So if somebody buys this, if it's on the online shop, in the shop physically, we have to take it off the online shop because it's physically left the building.
Yes.
Right?
Because you don't want somebody else buying something that doesn't exist.
If this is bought online, we have to find it in our shop and take it off the shop floor before a physical customer buys it and walks out of the shop with it. But we can't bear to leave stock not on display to our customers that walk in the door, because this could be an impulse buy, it could be a present. But so there is more work involved with us having an online shop and a physical retail space. And our neighbouring campsite and wakeboard zip line thing have put signs up on the lampposts and on the no entry signs and things. We've done the same. We have small signs that just say Sunshine Brocante with an arrow, and that feeds people into us. And the rest of it is word of mouth. We've got a leaflet. We've just currently done a leaflet. I'll show you. Hang on, sorry. Hannah designed this. We have two other companies, so two other businesses similar to ours in a different town, and they came to us. They're French, and they came to us and said, "Can we have a leaflet together that we can join in?" So they've got 3 Brocantes between Seac and Treniac. This guy here is an antique dealer. So very, very tiny shop. This guy here is a brown furniture, you know, more of a normal, typical French brocante.
Yes.
And then we're smack bang in the middle.
Oh, fabulous.
And what we did, so the Maison de Vintage means basically the house of vintage.
Okay.
Right? So what we did, we collaborated with 2 other businesses. And that's been brilliant because they're French. They know everybody. They've been doing it for forever. And they're putting leaflets around in a town and an area that is 30 minutes drive from here. So we're doing it for them and they're doing it for us. And that has been a really interesting exercise because we are complementary businesses. We are identical in name, as in we're all Brocantes, but we are not an antique shop because legally we can't be in France because we haven't got a degree in antiquities.
Okay.
However, past the one business he is, so he can do antiques. It just comes down to valuation. If I say I'm selling that orange and white light that's behind me, I don't have to confirm that it was the designer that's designed it is legitimate, you know, is correct. Yes. Whereas if you're an antique dealer in France and you say that's a Louis XV sideboard, it has to be, or you can be taken to court. So some people have said, isn't that a bit weird? You're working with your competitor.
I think it's a brilliant idea because you're not competitors, are you?
We've got 5,000 leaflets to distribute between the 3 of us, and they are they're putting them in places that I would never think to go, and we could put them places that they won't think to go. That we have to stay true to us, and when it comes to the advertising, we had to keep it classy, and we had to keep it what is the thing that is we really started off with, which is the vintage designer furniture and items, and it's grown into an amalgam of other things. But every single item that has got every number, when it gets sold, gets written in the book that it's been sold. But when it arrives, it gets allocated a number that gets written in a book. Got 3 of those, and it says where it came from, how much we paid for it, how we paid for it, the number, a registration number of some sort from the person we bought it from. So if it was stolen when we bought it, they can track it back to the person we bought it from. But if we can't prove that we legitimately bought it, then we'll be the ones that get prosecuted for handling stolen goods. Yes. Now, the police do come around, and they did. They came around, 3 gendarmes, three with guns, came in here a couple of months ago and said, we want to see, right, they said, where did you get this from? And we had to open the book and show them exactly where that item came from. And then they went and got some other goods, other things, and said, where did this come from?
So they kind of randomly went around the shop.
They just randomly went around the shop, but they go to every they go to every business at least once a year. And they went, that's great. Yeah, we'll see you. Maybe see you next year. They had a lovely time here. Didn't buy anything. I was a bit disappointed, but you know.
They might not be allowed to. It's like they're not allowed to have a drink either, are they, when they're working? So maybe they can't shop.
Come around when you're not in uniform. But I think that's part of setting up a business. It's what don't you know that you've got to do.
Yes, and you don't know what you don't know, do you? Until you find out what you don't know.
Absolutely. And when we moved to France, there are people that will help you register your existence in France. There are people that will help you get in, sort of insure your car or buy a car. All these things, all these hand-holding things are there. But for a business to set up, for someone who's already established in the country, and I have, my carte séjour, and I have my insurance. The insurers know I'm here. The Mare knows that we own a business. We own a house. We bought a house. It's no different with a business. Yes. But we flailed along, learning who to ask. How do you set up your business? Do you set it up as a micro entrepreneur? Do you set it up as a SAL or an EARL like we are? We're a limited company. Who do you ask for advice for that? We went to an hotel and we sat down with them with a business plan and said, what should we do? And then we spoke to our accountant and said, what should we do? Knowing what you need to know is really hard. But as a partnership, we are lucky because I think anybody who's on their own setting up a business, I would want somebody beside me who was saying, you have done this, haven't you? You do realize that this is on your list. Yes, I can help you. Yes, I can tell you where to go, who to talk to. Unfortunately, every business is so unique that how does any one advisor or helper know what they need to do? I suppose it just comes from experience.
You only need to be one step ahead of your customer. So you can be learning how to do the job and still helping somebody as long as you've already done that one step previous.
Absolutely. So it's knowing what you need to know. Is because it's legal requirements as well. It's there's no one person, as there never is in France, probably in the UK as well, think about it. There's never one body that will say, here's a list of things you've got to do, and these are the people you've got to talk to. When we had the vineyard, it was an absolute nightmare. We went to Chambre d'Agriculture and we had an advisor there, and he said, oh, you have registered with the douane, the customs and excise, haven't you? No. Oh, okay, well, I'll do that for you. Just as well, really. Oh, and by the way, you do realize there's a grant available if you put this form in, but before the end of next week. No, I'll fill that out for you. It saved us half the replanting costs in the vines. It's great, but we went with the vineyard. It was probably worse. It was probably more like other small businesses that haven't got like this one. In that we had to do it with, I won't go through them all. There was, I think, 6 or 7 different governing bodies involved with the winemaking and the vineyard running, because they're 2 separate things. Making wine and growing grapes for wine is different things. 6 or 7 different bodies that we had to be registered with, and we weren't registered with all of them when we did our first harvest. And that caused an absolute minefield, because you had to have a number from that guy, but you could only get that number from that guy once you'd got the number from that guy. And you couldn't get the number from that guy until you got the number from that guy. And it was literally that crazy. There was literally no rhyme or reason to it. Because we were all so wildly excited about this idea we've had. And it's all we want to think about. It's all we want to focus on. And Ruth said this last week.
I was just going to say that.
I just want to do this thing. I just want to sell orange lights. I don't care about anything else. And unfortunately, by having to care about the other things, it can deflate you. It can take all the fun out of it. It can take the joy out of running a business. And once everybody's got over there, oh, aren't you wonderful? You've set up a new business. Isn't it exciting for you thing, especially on Facebook? Once it comes down to the nitty gritty, day on day running of your own business with all the worries and all of the fears that come with it, you need to have that joy. You can't lose that joy, because the enthusiasm and the determination you had at the beginning has got to, it's what's going to sustain you. And I do want to reiterate the fact that when you have been an employed person in your previous life, being self-employed is non-stop. You never know. You can never turn off. The worry is yours and yours alone.
Yes. I'm working 12-hour days at the moment. And I'm kind of running manically to stay in the same place. Yeah, absolutely. We are. It's great though, because for me it's always different. Every day is different, and because I couldn't. That's why I'm unemployable. Not only am I the wrong age, and haven't got really an employment history, but also you put me in an office and I would just tear the place apart, because I'd get so fed up with doing the same thing every day. God, it's horrible. I worked for 11 years as a typist, and I wanted to murder the people I worked with by the end of it.
No.
I wasn't a typist for the entire time. I was an admin officer by the end of it, but it was no better.
If you have horses, which most of us do, or you've ever worked with animals of any sort. When I started working in the pig industry, because that's where my love was when I first started. I started at 13. And the first thing that we're always told was, you say, oh, what are the hours? And they go, whatever they need to be. You will work the hours that are required. Past these times. This is the times, but it's going to be a bit this side and a bit that side. And in the middle of summer, when you're in the middle of harvest, or in the autumn when you're combining, you will work until it's done, until it rains or whatever. Don't give a I don't do weekends. That's why I'm happy to open on weekends, because weekends to us were just another work day.
Same here.
But when you're self-employed, that is how your life is. It's you're always worrying about work, thinking about work, talking about work. We'll watch a TV program, you'll get some drama, and Dave and I and Hannah and Grant do the same. We'll go, oh, that's a nice Eames chair over there. Oh, look at that nice vase. That's so and so, you know. And we've stopped seeing television programs in the same way. You know, it's like the cows have got out, or the horse has got his foot stuck in a hay net. It doesn't matter if it's 12 o'clock at night, you're going to deal with it.
Yes, exactly. This is why before we sat down to the conversation, I went out and checked that everybody was in the right place. That doesn't mean they're still in the right place, but at least they were in the right place when I sat down to have this interview with you.
Yeah, and Hannah went up to do the horses. Just a simple thing of feed 2 horses this morning and take their rugs off, because actually it's finally stopped raining. And her 2-year-old was out. No one could catch him. They couldn't get hay into our field yesterday because the tractor almost turned over because it was too dangerous. And she was up there longer, moving the horses, catching them, you know, and all this shit happens. I thought
I disappeared for a second then. No, I suddenly went all twirly. It's because I have my phone outside on a bamboo stick.
You said, and the Shetland's probably rubbing against it. I think as your business evolves, your needs evolve, and you need to take stock every now and then and say, actually, is this working? Am I doing the best? Am I doing this the best way I could? Or is there, if I turn around, is the path I should be traveling actually over there and not right in front of me?
Yes.
And sometimes you need someone who is non-judgmental, who you can just talk about it to. If I talked to someone who was completely outside of that, who could say, yeah, I hear what you're saying. What do you want to do about it? And allow me to find my way, to rekindle the joy.
Not a non-judgmental sounding board.
Yes. Back in the room.
First thing, thank you so much for your time. And I'm really fingers crossed that it is recorded. It says on my end that it is still recording and that we're on 1 hour 27. So
yes.
So I think it has. So that's actually a good sign of this technology, not the technology that's outside on the bamboo stick, but the technology that's StreamYard.
I refer you back to the point where you weren't there and I was on my own for that one, my answer to that one. Yes.
Right then. So are you going to tell me, or do I have to watch it to find out?
Yeah, it's been lovely. I know that the relevancy of some things won't be for everybody, but I just think having our own business is absolute hoot, and I love it. I wouldn't do anything differently. We've done a lot of different things through our lives, and it's right now in this moment at 56. I am having a blast, and I want that. You know, that will continue as long as it needs to continue. And good luck to everybody. Good luck. Sorry, I do that without scratching my nose. Good luck to everybody who's setting up or has a business set up, because I know it's hard. And we just hang on in there. We can do this.
So much, Nikki.
And she's gone again.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this week's podcast. Thank you ever so much, Nikki. Your shop looks absolutely amazing. It really does. And as for next week, not sure who will be here next week. It's a toss-up between 2 different lovely ladies, but we just have to confirm dates. So I will let everybody know nearer the time. Right then. So if anybody else would like to join us on the podcast, let me know in the comments. It doesn't have to be an equestrian business, as you can see. Just needs to be a businesswoman with a horse. You know, kind of keeping it all on topic that we're all horsey people here. But we're not necessarily all having equestrian businesses. Right, so that's it for this week. Take care. Hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next Monday.